great to be back at the D23 Expo. For those that don't know, I spent about 4 years of my time here with the Walt Disney Company with D23, the official Disney fan club, and I can't express how special this moment is. You know, it was my childhood dream to experience the magic of every single Disney park in the world, and us Disney fans call this the Castle Club. And as you can see from the scrolling photos, I was fortunate enough to make that happen. So it's a true honor to host this panel with these amazing artists paying homage to these beautiful parks around the globe. Let's get started. So first and foremost, we're going to go through 3 different rooms, just like it's a small world, right? But there's much more in the attraction. But our first room, we've got 3 amazing panelists. Let's give them a round of applause. SHAG, Ashley Taylor, and Chou. Oh my gosh, amazing. Thank you for joining us today. Now, let's start with some quick introductions. SHAG, if you don't mind, we'll start with you.
Well, my name is SHAG, or Josh, if you want to get more familiar. And I've been doing art for the Disney parks for 20 years.
Now, which park are you representing today?
I am representing Disneyland, which is the park. Actually, my connection to Disneyland goes back really far because my mother came to Disneyland the day before it opened to the public.
Wow.
And I've known that my whole life, but I never knew why she came. And I finally called her last week to find out when I knew I was going to be on this panel. And her older brother was a physicist who worked on the rocket to the moon attraction.
Oh my God.
So he had an in, and that's how he got her in the day before it opened.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. All right, next up we've got the fabulous Ashley Taylor. Welcome.
I've been working with the Walt Disney Company since 2005, and I've been a Disney artist since 2015, and I'm representing Magic Kingdom Park.
Oh my gosh.
Walt Disney World.
All right, Joey, take it away.
Hello, my name is Jerrod Chou. I've been working with Disney since 2007. I started with their animation divisions, and I'm representing Tokyo Disney.
Amazing. Thanks to all of them. All right, we're going to dive into our questions. Let's go ahead. So, way to set the scene first and foremost. Let's get to the fun part. So SHAG, what is it like creating several iconic pieces tied to the Disneyland Resort, and why is this piece extra special? Before you answer, I have to kick out for a second. I own the Disneyland's 50th anniversary piece, and it is still shining in my house today, so thank you for your amazing art.
Thank you. Well, I wanted to capture as much of Disneyland as I could in the piece, and I'd already done a park map for the 50th anniversary, so I had to figure out how am I going to get as much Disneyland into this piece as I can, and also I wanted to put Walt Disney in the piece. For years and years I've tried to sneak him into the other art I've done for Disneyland, and for some reason they always tell me, oh, we spotted Walt, you gotta check him out. I don't know if they have to pay his family royalties or what, but I figured out, hey, if I do the statue of Walt, I can get Walt into the picture. So I knew I wanted the statue and some way to get as much of Disneyland into the piece as I could, and it had to be basically a big panorama, and that's why the piece is called the Magic Panorama. And I also thought about things you don't see in art a lot, like that great double-decker bus, you know, that is so emblematic of Disneyland, and things like that I wanted to put in as well. So that's kind of what I was thinking about with this piece.
Amazing. The omnibus, always have to ride on the 2nd floor, so you know. All right, Ashley, we're going to go ahead and have you take it away too. I think there's one more. Yep. Go ahead, one more slide. All right, Ashley, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World Resort this year. How special to do art for it, right? And you have had quite the amazing history with our Florida parks. Tell us, what's been your favorite memory, and what's some inspiration behind this art too?
Oh my goodness. I've had so many incredible chapters with the Walt Disney Company. I started off as a Jungle Cruise skipper, and then I got to be a performer in all the parades and shows, and now I get to bring all these amazing stories to life as a Disney artist. And the memories that I hold dear to my heart are the ones that are spent with the guests and the cast members and all of my fellow artists. And the Disney parks are just so magical because so many amazing people bring it to life.
Absolutely.
So my greatest memory, my inspiration behind my piece is the magic that everyone brings to the park and the memories that we all create together.
It's amazing, especially so special. Thanks for sharing. All right, Joey, you're up next. Now, Tokyo is referred to as the fan favorite Disney park. So how has the fanfare inspired your piece? Let me know.
So, Tokyo Disneyland is actually my first park I ever visited when I was 6. So for me, it's very personal, and I was so glad that I got to do this piece. And a few years ago, I also got to work with Tokyo Disney to do the It's a Small World ride, as well as their Celebration Hotel. So for Tokyo, I think Disney Sea is something really special and different. And so I want to highlight that into the piece. So I added like all the landmark that was in there, and then also for Tokyo Disney, their food is incredibly cute, and I mean, attention to detail is insane. Even the ramen noodle, the egg yolk, they have the Mickey shape in it. I don't know how they did that.
The little green men yogurts too.
Yeah.
The ice creams, if you have them, amazing.
So I tried to like add that, as well as the Duffy and Friends, which is the really adorable property that's very popular there. I mean, it's Mickey Mouse teddy bear.
How could you resist?
Yes. So those are the things I tried to include in the piece.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And you know, it's really, really fun and really special. So I got a few other questions for you, but the next one that I've got is, we'll start with you, Ashley. What is one piece of advice you have for aspiring Disney artists?
I think I would say that your dreams don't have expiration dates. You can attack them at any age and any time. If you have an opportunity to meet any of the artists here, they will all tell you that we all took a different path to get here. We all grow with different pathways and different milestones and on different timelines. So just keep pursuing it. The world is ready for you, and we are all ready to welcome you into the Disney Artist family.
Amazing, thank you. And Joey, how about same question for you?
I would say like for a lot of artists, we're mostly introverts and really shy. I would say like just don't be afraid to show your art on social medias and posting stuff and things that you're passionate about. And the artist community online are really nice, and then you can find your own people, and they're really encouraging.
Amazing, that's great. And how about you, Shag?
I'd say think about maybe developing your own style, or think about portraying the characters or the attractions in a way that you haven't seen them portrayed before. You know, give them your own sort of personal spin, and that might kind of set you apart from a lot of other artists who are doing Disney art. So that's my advice.
Amazing, that's good. Now before we have passed up, I've got one more question for you, and this is for the fans, so get ready for it. Shai, we're gonna start with you. If you could jump on an airplane right now and go to any of the Disney parks in the world, which would you pick? And it can be Disneyland right next door, that's totally fine. And why?
Well, as much as I'd like to take a jet to Disneyland next door, I'd have to go to one of the parks I haven't been to. And I walked through the exhibit here with the new attractions, and I saw a lot of really cool stuff in Shanghai. So I'd probably fly to Shanghai.
Very great. All right, Ashley, same question for you.
I would have the same answer, because Shanghai Disneyland is the only park I haven't been to yet. So I'm excited to see what they offer and what they have and meet all the cast members there, so yeah.
Amazing. And how about Joey?
Oh, this is a tough one. Oh, so Shanghai I haven't been, and there's so many awesome stuff that I've seen online that I would love to see. But as well as Epcot, there are so many new attractions that I haven't been on before, so I would love to see that again too.
Amazing. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, you haven't been on it yet? It's amazing, so you definitely have to go. Well, let's give our first round of applause to our amazing artists here. And then what we're going to do is leave your microphones, and then up next we've got our next 3 panelists, so thank you so much. All right, so we're going into our next room. So, introducing, let's give a warm welcome to Kevin Kidney from Kevin and Joey, Fenway Fan, and Jerrod Maruyama. We've said hi like 7 times today, so why not 9? It's all good. Feel free to take a seat. All right, so we are in part 2 of our Whirlwind Much Faster, It's a Small Disney World attraction right now, and I'm so excited to introduce the 3 of you. Similar questions to our friends just before. Go ahead and introduce ourselves. Kevin, we'll start with you, and then the park you're representing also, please.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin, and Jody Daly is out in the audience somewhere among you all. He walks among you. But we did the artwork for Disneyland Paris.
Amazing.
Hi everyone, my name is Fenway Fan. I'm from Boston.
Red Sox.
No, unfortunately, I'm not a fan for baseball. Anyway, I'm so glad to be here. I'm very honored to represent Hong Kong Disneyland. Thank you all for coming.
And Jerrod, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jerrod Maruyama, and freelance artist. I eat Oreos and sugar cereal, which you probably know just as much for. And I'm representing Shanghai Disney.
And Jerrod is also the king of the Kingdom of Cute. Don't let's not forget, of course. All right, friends. Well, we're going to go ahead and take into our fun questions. So, Kevin, from parades to Country Bear Jamboree collectibles, Fantasmic, Trader Sam's, and more, you've both truly done it all. What's been one of the highlights of your career so far?
Wow, that's so hard. So I started in 1986. I think I was one of the first cast members in the college program, and did it just like Ashley, who said I didn't know she worked Jungle Cruise. I did too, back when the boats were striped and not rusty. And yeah, and I worked in the art department on Fantasmic and a lot of the parades. And Jody and I did the Mickey Sensational Parade.
Yes, you did.
For several years. But I would have to say, actually, of all the things I've been doing lately, I've been getting to do a lot of restoration of some of the movie props and doing some work for the Disney archives. I got to build props for Mary Poppins Returns and things like that. So for me, I really, as a Disney fan, that's been my most, kind of excited projects to be working on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And how about for, let's see, hang on one second. There we go. So Fenway, out-of-the-box artwork seems to come easy to you, and how your Hong Kong Disneyland Papercut shadow box is truly no different. How long did the project take you from conception to end?
Well, it takes quite a while. So honestly, Hong Kong Disneyland was the very first park I ever visited in 2007. So I feel extra special when I was assigned to do a piece for Hong Kong Disneyland. So like most of my design project, I started with online researching. For this particular piece, I also talked to my friend from Hong Kong. So we can capture the authentic Hong Kong spirit. So the researching process took about a week, and I started doing drawing sketches. So from the sketches to the final digital art, it took another 5 weeks.
5 weeks, wow.
Yeah, then come with the fun part. The third step is paper crafting, which took the longest.
Wow.
Yeah, and I also spent some revision on this one because during the pandemic there's a renovations happening in Hong Kong Disneyland, so it about 4 months paper crafting and 3 more months for the revision. Yeah, and in the end I decided to add some LED light to mimic the neon street signs for Hong Kong.
Wow.
So all in all, it took me about almost a year to finish from the starting to the end.
Amazing.
And I also have a work in progress video posting on my Instagram, so you guys are more than welcome to check. Thank you very much.
We'll definitely go check. So, absolutely. Thanks for sharing. All right, Jerrod, you were selected to represent the newest park, Shanghai Disney Resort, one of which you have created various pieces of merchandise for. My personal favorite, the balloons! What's been your favorite piece you've created for Shanghai Disneyland? And it's okay if you say the balloons, I promise.
It's a good question. So when we do these things, we all design the art and the characters, and we do these little scenes. And at the time, the park wasn't even done. So they were sort of showing me concept stuff and letting me know what this thing was going to look like. And so I kind of had to fake it or go by drawings instead of actually seeing the structure. And there's no history there yet, so we were just kind of going blind into this. So I did a ton of artwork for this, and then just waited until opening day, which was almost maybe a year from when we had started, and then just saw how much product they had made of this. It was just crazy how much they did. It was on like Chou packaging, which was just crazy. So it was just neat to see. It was unfortunate I wasn't able to attend or go there and just see these shops filled with the merchandise, but it was beautiful stuff. They did a great job, and But they're all my children. It's hard to pick a favorite. But like most parents, I do have a favorite. So a little bit later, not at opening, but a little bit into it, they did a popcorn bucket of my Lotso character. And there's such a passion for these popcorn buckets. I mean, it's crazy here, but even more so over there. So to see that happen, to be part of that collection, that was probably like that was a surprise, and it was great to see that come to life.
Absolutely, definitely. You know, thanks for sharing. One of the most memorable experiences of my own personal career is I had the opportunity to be on the opening of Shanghai Disney and was humbled to be there as guests walked in for the very first time. And it was a pinch me moment, right? You're on a completely opposite end of the world in a totally different community, totally different culture, but yet everyone was ecstatic to experience the magic. And I think that that's been so special, kind of being in these D23 communities, is that magic of Disney is, no matter where it's at, it's a small world. So thank you all so much for all of your hard work in that. We've got some more questions. So, Kevin, I want to talk a little bit about your piece that you did at Disneyland Paris. Walk me through a little bit about your inspiration. I know that we don't have it pulled up on display right now, but we saw it a few ago, so everyone's got their great memory on there for them.
So yeah, the piece we did for Disneyland Paris, if you've seen it, it's really based off of, inspired by Ivan Earle's illustrations for the opening of Sleeping Beauty. And if you've noticed, remember the big storybook opens and there's those beautiful illuminated pages. So for our original piece, we even did hand gold leafing on all of the calligraphy, which took a while to do. But there's all kinds of hidden icons in there of the park. And our favorite is the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The walk through there in Paris is phenomenal.
One of the best.
So it's fun to have it there, kind of in the lagoon in front of the castle, and the Phantom Manor's in there, and a bunch of other stuff. So
I love that Big Thunder Mountain Railroad's on an island there, and you have an awesome drop at the end. It's so good. So, all right. So a big question for all three of you: if you could live in any Disney park for 1 year, 1 year, I know, right? Hard, heavy hitter. Which would you pick, and why? Unfortunately, Jerrod, you're first.
So I had a chance to go to Tokyo Disneyland. That's kind of the only park outside of the country that I've been to, and so I'd probably pick that one because it's a beautiful park. They love it there in such a different way than we do here, but the fans are great there. It's a beautiful park. They're so polite. Everything's so clean. I probably could live there for a year, and they would just let me. Lay down my little parade towel and just stay there. Yeah. So yeah, I think Tokyo Disneyland would probably be my pick.
I mean, would you do Disney Sea or Disneyland?
I would go with Disneyland.
Classic. Yeah. Very fun. All right, Fenway, how about you?
I want them all. So an easy solution would be I start with any of the park and I borrow Mickey's magical wand and transform me to any places.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
That is.
Oh, there's no trick for magic.
Dang it, that's a good one. I was not expecting you to say that. All right, Kevin, how about you?
okay, so I am an Anaheim person through and through, and you know, I grew up here going to Disneyland, and my grandfather was helped install Pirates of the Caribbean in the 60s. He was a plumber and put in all the water systems and everything. So I would have to pick Tokyo Disney Seas.
Very fair. I get it. It's just throwing that curveball right out there. Amazing. Well, thank you all so much for your time and celebrating our amazing Disney parks with us. Let's go ahead and round of applause. All right. So for our grand finale room, but instead of one moon and one golden sun, we have two panelists who will be diving into a different style of artwork, books. Please welcome to the team behind the poster of Disney Parks, Vanessa Hunt and Jennifer Eastwood. Welcome. So welcome both to It's a Small Disney World, our great panel celebrating the art of Disney parks. Let's start some quick introductions. Vanessa, take us away.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Hunt. I'm currently the brand design content specialist for Tillamook Creamery up in Oregon. However, prior to that, I spent 20 years with Disney, the last 15 of which were with the Walt Disney Imagineering Art Collection team. And if you don't know, the art collection is the archive for all the theme park art created for all the parks around the world.
Amazing.
Also, she is a fabulous Disney Editions author.
Side joke.
Oh my gosh, how about you, Jennifer? Go ahead.
So I am the Disney Edition senior editor. That means I work on all the beautiful coffee table books and travel guides and cookbooks, and especially all our lovely books about the parks. And we're so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. So Vanessa, it is such a pleasure to make, okay, here's fun photos. We have to see the photos. Vanessa, it's so great to make more D23 magic with you again. We had some pretty cool behind the scenes experiences back in the day, so it's pretty special to be here.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. All right, Jennifer, we already did your intro, but you're gonna see your really fun photos here in just a second. Everyone ooh and ah.
If you ever wonder like why we became nerds, this is it.
Nerds since childhood.
Oh my gosh. So we know Disney fans love poster art, and the edition one is one of our favorite Disney books. What is it about Disney poster art that you believe encapsulate and expands on the unique experience that is visiting one of these magical kingdoms? Vanessa, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, attraction posters are really similar to travel posters in that they're just a quick, at a glance, you understand what the experience is going to be that you're about to go to. So whether it's an attraction or a restaurant or a show, that just really quickly shows you what that's going to be. So it could be aspirational. You might see it and go, ooh, I want to go on that. That looks interesting. Or it's just something that brings back memories of a favorite attraction. I know I have posters on my wall, and when I look at them, I smile.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Jennifer?
So from a book point of view, 10 years ago was when the original poster art of the Disney parks came out. And prior to that, that was not an obvious choice to come and say, this is worthy of an art book. At that point, it was all the beautiful concept art that the Imagineers made as visual development. Maps were always an interesting thing that came through in books, but the posters for the attractions really were just these background items that just ID'd an attraction really quickly. And so what Danny and Vanessa did is say, no, you have to stop and appreciate this entirely artistically creative, full collection that not only tells the story of each Disney park and its very iconic lands within that park, but also like a really strong representation of graphics through the years, because the different styles from the 50s and 60s versus the later years really have their own identity.
Totally, absolutely. It's so fun to see all of the artwork here too. It's like we had said, when Disneyland opened, the posters were right when you walked in. It's kind of your coming attraction, so it's really fun. So what we have to know, what can fans expect from the second edition?
So much more. We added more than 85 new posters.
Awesome.
My former team went in and re-photographed all the original Disneyland posters and the Disneyland Paris posters, so more accurate colors. Danny and I talked to a lot more poster artists this time, so we wanted to get their voice sprinkled in throughout the books. There's a lot more quotes from them. What else?
Well, I can't stress enough the whole color correction angle of this, because this lady is a champion for that, and as a Disney fan, I am a fan of that, let alone a book editor. Really, they took these posters, they put them in these oversized, crate areas, and Mike Pucher, the photographer at WDI, MacGyvered this crazy system that involved a car air conditioning motor for some reason. And that's what really kept the corners down so that as posters could be captured in the light, it would be a true, genuine image of this is that color representation. And then Vanessa gave us Pantone chip colors to match to make sure that the book printing was accurate. So this really was done with a labor of love to say not just to reproduce the collection, but at that quality level that really does justice to these posters.
Amazing. So, Jennifer, just going to start with this question with you. What's a fond memory you both have of yourselves in the parks? A moment where the art around you really stuck out and helped solidify a core memory.
So I'm going to pick the windows on Main Street. And the reason is I was dying to go on the Keys to the Kingdom tour backstage at the parks way before I was old enough to do that. So by the time I got to that place where, yes, I was old enough, they were going to let me on this tour, And I just remember that moment where the tour guide is standing in front of the train station with you and says, okay, I'm gonna take you through, but here's the story. We're gonna go through the tunnel, we're gonna see the posters, it's gonna be all the coming attractions, and then we're gonna get to Main Street and you're gonna see the windows, and those are the opening credits to a show like no other. And that has always stuck with me.
Amazing. How about you, Vanessa?
For me, I spent a lot of time at the Disney Gallery when it was up above Pirates of the Caribbean when I was younger.
Yep.
And that was a space that could house original artwork safely. So original art from the Imagineering Art Collection was frequently on display and rotated out. So seeing that in person as, you know, a teenager was just so amazing to me. And seeing, you know, Herb Ryman and John Hench and Mary Blair and Dorothea Redmond's up close and personal was just really special. And I knew, like, okay, I want to work with that someday. I don't know how. And luckily it happened.
Totally. I love when before Indiana Jones Adventure opened, they had like poster art up there, and it was so fun to see like concept of what was coming. It was amazing. Okay, great. So, well, friends, before we see this, I think we need to all know where they can get this book. I believe there's an update, so I'm gonna let Jennifer take it away.
Yeah, so I was hoping to sit up here and say, head down to the Disney Publishing booth and get your copy, but we sold out this morning. Oh, I know, I'm so sorry. So
It's okay.
go to disneybooks.com and you can figure out which retailer you like best and pre-order it, and the book will be on sale in October. We are so excited to share it with you.
Oh my gosh, well thank you so much for being here. We'll give you a round of applause
Thank
as
you,
well.
everyone.
Well, friends, I know we've traveled around the world much faster than the usual gentle waterways, but it's been such a pleasure to spend some time with our amazing artists and all of you and celebrate our amazing Disney parks around the world. As a special thank you for joining us today, we have Shop Disney vouchers for each of you on your way out. Make sure you stop and grab one. And lastly, remember, as you can meet many of these artists later today at Talent Central. Until then, keep on dreaming and remember, it's a small world after all. Thanks, everyone.